Go back.
$69. Numbers matching.
Okay. Things happen. February, March, still watch the video. What does it matter?
$1,969. Oh.
Left hand corner. That's my video. Yeah.
Okay, now we're ready. Go ahead.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. This is the May 26, 2026 meeting of the Johnson County Board of Zoning Appeals. I will do a roll call. I am Chris Campbell. I am here. Mr. Canary here. Mr. Gray is not here. Mr. Hoffman here. Mr. Kaler
Here.
and Mr. Meyer.
Here.
All members were mailed a copy of the meeting minutes for the April 28, 2026 meeting. Are there any necessary changes or to the minutes? If no one has any changes to the minutes, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Go move.
It's been moved by Mr. Hoffman to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
It was
It was Canary.
Canary.
Oh,
It's trying to impersonate.
I don't hear.
all right. Mr. Canary moved to approve. Mr. Hoffman seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting minutes. All opposed. Minutes carried or passed, like I said. Let's see, we move right on to our new petitions, V-4-26, and with that, I'll turn it over to staff.
Okay. Good evening, Michelle Hanser, Director of Planning and Zoning. The first case is VH 426 at 5832 North, 75 West, Whiteland. The owner is Holden Properties LLC. Petitioner is Noel Hale. He is requesting a variance of use from the Johnson County Unified Development Ordinance to provide for an HVAC contractor shop, warehouse, and office, which is not permitted in agriculturally zoned property. Along with our commercial use, we have the standard development standards that companion commercial use, which was a commercial parking, which includes paved surface, curbs, install, striping, landscaping requirements, and to allow for a wall sign. The property is located in Pleasant Township. It is on the west side of New Whiteland, within obviously the unincorporated areas. It is just south of a church off of Tracy Road. It is to the west of the New Whitelands corporate boundaries with their Proctor Park, which is a public park owned by the town of New Whiteland. It is to east to a small strip of subdivisions on Rustic Lane. And then it's surrounded sporadically by residential lots. This is the property. It is a single family home with a few accessory structures and then a structure that is to northern of the property. This is a bird's eye view of the property looking to the west. As it stated, they're trying to seek a use variance to use this as a contractor shop and office. A little history of the property. It started in 1979 with Reeves Porters, who's used that property until the time that he sold the property, but he had sold it. I don't know when he sold it. I'm sorry. He was a contractor off provider as well as for HVAC. He also received an air variance in 1985 for a wind generating system. I think some of that was along with his use that he used the property. In 2021, Holden Properties sought a use variance of the similar request. Now the property is for sale. The potential buyer, which is Noel Hale, is seeking a use variance to continue the use so he may, and then he can complete the sale of the property. His submitted site plan, a few minor things that are not similar, but very similar. He plans as part of his submitted site plan or plan of operation. He does anticipate 9 employees. This is a contractor office warehouse, so it is not a customer generating site. There will be very few customers on site, if ever. They will operate from Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. They will, go to on site to work on customers' houses or buildings of such. There will be no hazardous materials stored on site. They anticipate number of deliveries per day is about 3. As the site plan provided, the northern property structure is the use property. I'm sorry, I thought I had a word better. I do have. Go. The Zoom tabs make it hard. I can switch. It's not letting me switch. Okay, so this is the structure that has been using as a contractor's.
That's Brad.
I don't know why it's not changing. There it is. So here's the property. It's a little slow. I apologize. So here's the property. Here's the bond that is being used as a contractor shop currently. There is no current signage, although the petitioner in the past had been granted a sign allowance with his use variance. This is the single family home, as you can see. And then this is, I think, accessory structure that was used for the residential purposes of the property. This property, we have never received any complaints or concerns from the use that it had been since 2021 or even prior to that when Reeves Porter did it. So, and then no neighbors have called in of any concern of this use and how it's been detrimental to the area. So if he is on US and continues to use the use as it has been used, the staff does not have any issues with it. As far as the standards, hold on. So just like any of our commercial standards, commercial use variance requests, there are development standards. We do require commercial parking and require certain type of landscaping, and we allow very limited wall signage. This area that is to the east of the barn is all gravel. I have not spoken to Noah specifically about this, but the other petitioner didn't have any plans to concrete over that. Obviously, there's nothing curbed or striped. I think making that in this area would just make it more dominant of a commercial use than it is just a rural residential property. And then as far as landscaping, because it's residential, they would need they butt residents to the north and to the south and to the west. They would need like a 20-foot landscaping. Obviously, that's not practical in these situations. It's can be very hard to achieve that. And then as he agreed to as the other variance that if he was going to put a wall sign, it would not exceed 50 square feet in area. Any questions?
Any questions for staff?
I have one, actually two real quick.
Mhm.
Does they have a sign variance now?
Like I said, the 2021 variance gave them that approval to have a wall sign. I just don't know if they ever got around to putting it on or ever utilized it.
How big is that, the 50 square feet?
Yeah.
In, when you look straight back, it looks like there's some brand new, maybe it's not brand new, just the property looks that nice. Almost looks like storage units. They're dark gray with white garage doors.
Mhm.
Those are approved? Or there's a,
I didn't look up the history of this permit, so I don't know. I'm assuming they're good.
No, not yet.
Okay.
So, your question on the sign, it was already there at 50 feet, 50 square feet?
it's already approved.
The previous petition in 2021, these were very similar. I had asked Noah if this is something he wanted to continue because if he wants to put a sign up, obviously the person before them never utilized it. So that would kind of need to continue on to this. If this use variance is requested, they need permission to erect a sign. So I've just continued with the agreements in the email. He continued with those development standards.
I was just curious on the size, though. I mean, I thought normally we were at 32 square feet.
Yeah.
And this was 50. I don't know. I didn't know why.
Yeah, I mean, that's what always been asked, and I asked if that's what he wanted to
Not there
go.
now, so that.
Yeah.
Could be.
Any more questions for staff? Thank you, Michelle.
Mhm.
Okay. The procedure for this is the petitioner has 15 minutes to state their case and answer any questions that the board would have. Then any remonstrators have 20 minutes cumulatively between all of them to state their concerns, and then the petitioner has 5 minutes for rebuttal. Anyone who wishes to speak for or against this petition needs to stand and take the oath of a witness. That includes the petitioner and anyone who wants to speak against it or anyone the petitioner has brought in support.
Please stand. Raise your right hands. Swear affirm on the penalties of perjury, testimony about gives truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
With that, we turn it over to the petitioner. When you approach the podium, please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Noah Hale. I currently live at 32 Morningside Court, Whiteland, Indiana, 46184. Looking to seek the property of Reporter and the house above it. Seek my case. I'm going to operate it the same way as the current petitioner, current owner has. Nothing's going to change. No sign, nothing different. Keep the gravel where it's at. No pavement. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. We're going to build obviously metal boxes for, clientele that needs them. I will reside on that property myself. So I'll be living on the actual home site. In regards to the business, we've known the current seller for 2-3 years now. So we seek the opportunity to obviously take advantage on the sell price. And then again, we obviously saw everything that was set out straight, and we decided to go ahead and move forward with the sub upon you guys' approval. Other than that, any questions or concerns?
Any questions for the petitioner? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Does anybody here to remonstrate against? Seeing none, you have 5 more minutes if you want it. If you don't need it, he's good. Okay. We'll close the comments presentation. Does the board have any further questions for staff or any things they'd like to say?
One question for staff. I see in the submitted site plan, it looks like there was a parcel A and parcel B. Am I looking at the wrong? I think I'm looking at the right thing, but it is one parcel number. Right, okay. Was there a plan at one point to subdivide these into 2 separate lots?
I'm not sure, honestly. This is a site plan I think somebody used at one point. But no one's discussed with me a land division.
Okay.
I know this was a similar site plan that they had used in 2021, so I don't know if it was just something that they had thought of, or maybe the legal description say something about that.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
There's 2 things I have. I guess question I have is, these are on the developmental standards. So do we need to discuss the first one first, or are these all together?
However you guys want to do it.
Well, I'll just tell you what I think anyway.
I mean, we typically.
I understand not striping and not asphalt and everything, since there's not a lot of traffic on it. I think the idea for the asphalt is to keep the dust down at night, but evidently it's not a problem, so I don't have a problem with that really. I kind of do on landscaping. There's larger buildings there. If there's some way, I don't know if we need a 20-foot buffer. I'm not saying that, but some landscaping to make it look kind of blend in more as residential, some of that kind of thing. And if our number that we're always talking about is the 32 square foot on the sign, I think that we ought to go back to that on the sign of the side. It's not like we're putting a lighted sign up necessarily that's drawing customers there, since we're not going to have any driving customers. I could understand having a sign, for delivery people to see, to know how to get there and stuff. That's just my opinion.
Michelle, and are the findings of fact presented by staff, they're adequate for an approval, aren't they?
Yep.
Okay, any more questions or comments? If there are none, I would entertain a motion to approve or deny this petition.
Sorry, I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Michelle, do we not typically have the site plan and the plan of operation incorporated as commitments or conditions of approval?
Yeah, I mean, typically when you guys make a motion to approve a use variance, you subject to obviously the petitioner and the submitted site plan and plan of operation. That was the only main difference that I had when I reviewed the 2021 case versus his petition. In 2021, Holden Properties had anticipate growing his business and asked for additional square footage for a barn in the future. This does not have a site plan that shows that growth, nor does it say it in the plan of operation. So if he does want to grow his business based on plan of operation and site plan, that he would have to come back and seek modification, which you guys have done on other cases as well.
Right. So if approval, in short, if
Yeah.
approval is granted, a motion would be made to approve the variance requests with the incorporation of plan of operation and site plan.
Correct.
I was there today.
Mhm.
It is in a kind of a residential area. On the other hand, it's extremely clean, both the house and the area and the buildings. The gravel is way out back. Everything around the front is concrete. The building's fairly close to the road. I don't know that there's really room to put plants in front of it, or some kind of shrubbery, though I do kind of agree we got to keep it at the 32 square feet. So on the signage, which is a 4x8 sign because of the area it's in, based on that, I would make a motion. Because when I look at the 6 factor findings, there's nothing in it that is negative. It all fits. It's been operated that way as a heat and air conditioning business since 1979. And it wasn't. I've seen some places look like junkyards. This place did not. This place looks really nice.
I can go along with you on the landscape buffer. I'm ambivalent on the signage. My question for you is, which findings of fact would you use in a motion?
There's only staff finding facts for the development standards, but there's a use variance, finding facts for petitioner, and one prepared by the staff.
Now I can't find the page it was on.
I keep bringing it up because I prefer yours. I say I brought it up twice.
There we go. I would use the petitioner's finding of facts. I think they're very well written. And they cover all findings 1 through 5.
With respect to the use, though, right? Not the development.
Right.
And we'd have to use
The staff
the staff's
report for development standards. So I guess I would make a motion to approve V0426 based on the finding of facts of the petitioner for the use and based on the finding of facts of staff for the development standards. And the only thing changing is a maximum signage of 32 square feet.
I can see.
Can I quickly modify that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why you're here.
Oh, appreciate it. So the recommended motion is approval of V-04-26. With the variance of use, utilizing the petitioner's findings of fact. And the approval of the variance of development standards using the staff's findings of fact, with the exception of allowing a wall sign not to exceed 32 square feet. In addition to incorporation of the plan of operation and site plan.
Sounds good. Do I have a second?
I can second that. I will.
It's been moved to approve V-4-26.
It is.
Using a detailed list of findings of fact and the approval of the variance of development standards, including the variance of use. Mr. Kaler,
Yes.
Mr. Meyer,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Canary.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. So the variance is approved. Moving on, our next petition is V-5-26, Jeffrey and Emily Bradley. And with that, I'll turn it over to staff.
All right, V-5-26 at 6709 South 200 West Trafalgar. Petitioners Jeffrey and Emily Bradley, represented by Van Valer Law Firm. They are seeking a development standard from the Johnson County Unified Development Ordinance to allow for a 1,360 square foot accessory dwelling where the maximum is 1,000 square feet allowed and for accessory dwelling. The property is located in Nineveh Township. It is on a property of 32 acres, 32.4 acres of size, zoned AR, agricultural residential. It is improved with a residential home and a couple of accessory structures. The property is surrounded by smaller parcels in size and used residentially. Here is a bird's eye view of the property. To the leftmost structure is the residential structure. Is the primary residential structure. In the middle is the structure of what we're talking about tonight, and to the right is a accessory structure barn. As stated, they are seeking a variance to allow for a 1,360 square foot accessory structure where the ordinance allows for 1,000 square feet. They are this property was once the Indian Spring Golf Course. According to the internet, it has not been used since 2014. The property owners have converted this property back to residential homestead with farming activities. There is a structure on the building. There is a structure on the property that the petitioner wishes to convert to an accessory dwelling. The structure itself is 1,364 square feet in size. That structure is the structure located in the red box on the screen. There is no attached unfinished garage space or barn space or storage space to the structure. Here is a view of the property from street view that shows the accessory structure and the primary dwelling on the farther north of the property. As expressed in all other dwelling cases, the maximum state is the ordinance allows for 1,000 square foot of accessory living space. This provides for the intended purposes to provide the ownership to provide care for a family member or to provide accommodations for visiting family, which generally should be benign to secondary use of the residential on the property. It has been deemed by this board and by the Plan Commission and Commissioner that 1,000 square feet is an adequate living space to achieve the intended purposes to provide care for a family member while encouraging independent living. The structure itself, like I said, is existing. It was once used for the golf course, pro shop. The building plans on, that you can find in the packet kind of show a, a room with a closet, a bathroom and then an open space. It does not really indicate in here if this is a kitchen. There isn't, it's still a kitchen at all right now currently or not. But this will allow them to remodel the whole structure to be used as a, accessory dwelling. Staff has prepared findings of facts that have been used for all staff prepared accessory dwelling cases. So there's nothing specifically for this property per se, but as it is, it will not be injurious to the public health and safety or moral. The use in the area should not be affected as it's utilizing an existing structure. However, number 3, there's nothing of a practical difficulty to prevent this property from using from what it is. It has been failed to, nothing unique to the circumstances or conditions particular to this piece of land, like a regular shape of lot, exceptional topography that prevents them from adhering to established development standards for accessory structures and dwellings. The variance is not for economic benefit. The request is a minimal deviation. We have seen a lot that are, exaggerated accessory dwellings. I think 350 is, a very minimal. They're not asking to add on to the structure. They're trying to utilize the whole structure as itself. But the variance, as staff interpret, is due to hardship created by the property owner. Again, it is not a forced need to, utilize the whole structure for the accessory dwelling. Anybody can make the same argument, like, hey, I have a structure that's 2,000 square feet on my property. I need to use it for an accessory dwelling. They can't modify it, obviously existing structure easily. So anybody could use this particular argument in any, case do forth and what we've stated on other cases. So therefore, staff is not recommending of this variance as she has made that on other cases.
Could you say that one more time, please?
As I made that on other cases for accessory dwellings. I'm just trying to provide that this is not anything personal to this particular property or anything. This is the standard interpretation that staff has applied to every single dwelling case that we have made.
Are you done?
Yes, I am done.
Any questions for staff?
How long have they owned it?
They probably gonna answer that faster than I could look it up.
117.
And when was it remodeled as a home?
The structure hasn't been remodeled as a home. They want to remodel it as a
It looks
dwelling.
like it to me.
The home.
Any more questions? Okay, with that, we'll move on to the presentation by the petitioner and any comments by remonstrators. Again, all petitioners for this application and anyone that wishes to speak for or against this must be sworn in. The petitioner and anyone the petitioner has brought with them tonight for support have 15 minutes to speak. Anyone else in the audience that wish to make a comment or questions will have a cumulative 20 minutes, and then the petitioner has 5 minutes to address those questions and comments. So anyone wishing to speak for or against this petition, please stand and take the oath of witness.
Raise your right hands. Swear affirm on penalty of perjury, testify to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you.
With that, I turn the podium over to the petitioner. And again, you must state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Eric Prime, Van Baylor Law Firm, 225 South Emerson in Greenwood, on behalf of petitioners, Jeff and Emily Bradley. The Bradleys are here with me this evening as well. As Michelle indicated, the former use of this property, but do we have a clicker?
No, you just gotta tell me.
Or you can go to the next slide. The former use of the property was the Indian Springs Golf Course. It went out of business in 2014. My clients acquired the entire property and it's now used for agricultural purposes. They have sheep on the property that graze the area. They live there in the primary residence. And then as staff pointed out, there is you can go to the next slide, Michelle. There is a middle building that was once the pro shop that they would like to use as an accessory dwelling. They have not changed any of the footprints of any of the buildings on the property since they moved in. They're playing the hand that they were dealt. They did do some exterior work on both actually a bunch of interior work on the existing residence and exterior work there. On the pro shop, when they moved in, it had been vandalized. The windows were all broken out. The doors were broken in. The roof was leaking. So they put a new roof on. They put new windows and doors in to secure it. And that's really all it's been used for since. So what they are asking for is the right to use this for their adult daughter to move into as a secondary residence. They will not rent it out. In fact, they're happy to make a commitment as part of any zoning variance grant that they will not use this as rental property. They want simply for their family member to be able to stay there and use the building. Now, the rub here is that it's not 1,000 square feet. Right. And again, playing the hand that they were dealt, they have not expanded the building. It is exactly in the same shape it was. I think that that staff and my client and I are all on the same page on the findings, except especially for that number 3, where staff found that there was not a peculiarity to this property that where the strict application of the zoning ordinance would be a hardship. And I differ on that. If you think about it, this was a golf course, and rarely are you going to ever have another situation where this falls into your lap like this with existing buildings in place. The pro shop is not a shed. It's not a barn. It's not a weird side structure. It was actually built purposely for human habitation, not necessarily just to live in, but to be in. It had water, it still does have water, electric, it has its own separate septic system, and restrooms are already in there. So it was really intended for human habitation. It would be a really difficult thing to let that sit vacant when it's right there on their property and easily convertible to a living space. It's not anything where a family could move in there. It's 1 bedroom, 1 bath. In a big open room that would be a kitchen and living room. So you're not in danger of having a huge bunch of people coming in there, and they certainly don't want that. It's a working farm, and they want people that they know in that building. So our ask this evening is simply to allow an extra 360 square feet over your normal 1,000 square feet. And I would put it to you that you're not opening a can of worms here. You're not creating some sort of precedent that would cause you hardship in the future to turn these down, because just about anybody else that's going to come in for something like this, it will be either not built yet, right? A building that's not built yet, they want to put an accessory structure up. And in that case, then obviously they need to adhere to the 1,000 square feet. Anybody else, you're going to maybe have a barn or a shed or some kind of an outbuilding that was not intended for human habitation. And so that is the peculiarity of this, is that they bought a golf course. And there are 2 buildings existing on the property that would allow for humans and were intended for humans to occupy them. So we believe this is a really good use for that existing building. It's in a residential area, and we've had no negative feedback from any of the neighbors on this request, and everyone that my folks have talked to have said, sure, this would be great. We've got no problem with this, particularly because of the size. It's such a low, small building that it's not going to house a family or multiple families. So we're simply asking for the developmental standard variance to allow for the 1,357 square foot building to be utilized as a secondary residence by a family member.
Any questions? Thank you. Are there any remonstrators? Okay, you have 5 more minutes if you want. Anybody you brought with you once? If you don't need it, we'll move on.
I do have a question though, and I don't know where it
Who
goes.
for?
Well, that's what I don't know. A picture of the floor plan was that drawn or where did the picture of the floor plan come from? This one.
Michelle, can we go back to that real quick? Yeah, that was drawn by my client. He is an engineer at Lilly by day.
And this may be for Michelle, I don't know, maybe this is the way you. Excuse me, maybe this is the way that it should be added up, I don't know, but when you add up the rooms that they've got on here. It's got the total of 1,031.8 square feet excluding the utility room. Is that something that's typically done?
No,
Okay.
to make it simplicity on us, on what we standard practice, we measure every structure, regardless of what it's for, from outside wall to outside wall.
That's what I thought, but I didn't know why that was separated out.
That was just something my client did to show how it was going to look inside, and he's very meticulous, so he included the actual inside square footage, which is just barely over the 1,000. If that was the way the county projected it, then yeah, we're at 1,031 of livable space.
But I don't know why the utility room would not be considered usable space.
Just not livable. I mean, you don't use that to live in the utility room. It would be storage and maybe a washing machine, dryer.
May I answer the question? If you come up here and state your name and address.
Jeff Bradley, 6709 South 200 West, Crowder. So, in working with Van Baylor, the paralegal Rachel Sloop. Rachel was in discussions with Michelle. Apparently, we had some misunderstanding. It was my understanding that when the calculation of the livable area was made, the utility room where the furnace and water heater are was not part of that calculation. So that's what I put on the drawing. That's it. If that's not correct, if I shouldn't have done that, my apologies. There wasn't an intent to deceive. That was my understanding of what numbers I was supposed to put on the drawing. So that's the answer. That's why there are two numbers.
Any questions for Mr. Bradley? Okay. Thank you. Michelle, I have a question for you. And I just, if this was turned down, they've got gobs of road frontage there. They could just put it on its own track, right? And then it'd be completely legal. I'm not suggesting they do that. I'm just trying to clarify.
They do have availability to divide their property. I don't know with the distance between the current structures, if there's enough to have for a proper setback and road frontage between the primary and the accessory, but there is room for land division.
Looks to me like they've got a lot, but I'm not promoting that. I'm just pointing out that this, we're not going to really change this.
Yeah, I mean, not to answer for them, I know at one point me and Rachel did talk about that as an alternative that they can do land division. I don't know if anybody laid out any lots.
No, of course they haven't, but I just
Yeah,
pointing out that this is going to go no matter what.
correct.
Anybody else? Okay. I will move to approve V-5-26 using the petitioner's findings of facts. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
Add a commitment for no rental properties since it was suggested.
Okay, well, it was suggested to add a commitment for the no rental of the property. Do I have a second?
Sorry, you're adopting whose findings of facts? Did I miss that?
I was using, yeah, no, I.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
You weren't paying attention.
That was.
I have like three.
Second, whatever.
James, I think.
Okay, Mr. Kaler seconds.
Second.
I will vote yes. Mr. Canary,
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes.
Mr. Kaler.
Yes.
Mr. Meyer.
Yes.
D-5-26 passes.
Thank you very much.
We have no old business. The new business is the June Board of Zoning Appeals meeting date. That's not the same, isn't it? It hasn't been changed.
No, but I do want to disclose that my mother scheduled a big family vacation on that week. I will be out of town, but hopefully I can get IT to be here for the meeting for me to zoom in.
What is the date for the?
June 22nd, I believe.
Oh, I hope you have a good time.
And
So just remember, I'm gonna be on Zoom, so speak into your microphone so I can hear you.
So, wait a minute, so the 23rd we're supposed to have it?
Let me see. I feel like it was, yes,
Yes.
the 23rd, 21st is Sunday.
And you wanna move back to 30th?
Today's the deadline. I have one petition. I knew there were like 3 other people that wanted to file, but I need to reach out and give them good grief and see if any of them want to file.
in the legal notices, maybe I misread it, but in the legal notices, the paper, the date was June 2nd.
No, it's
And
my
I knew that.
birthday.
And I knew that wasn't right, but I didn't know whether that was a misprint or
Probably a misprint.
does that make a difference?
I don't know. I would have to see.
Guess you have to come in on June 2nd, see if anybody shows up.
Well, I didn't, I mean,
I mean, I think we found the only person who read the public notices.
Didn't make a difference unless you stated on the record and have the record, so it makes a difference, so
well,
we can address
I
the
just didn't know whether-
potential deficiency notice.
Yeah, what it-
All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
So we
Been moved to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting is adjourned.